couple of days ago, I was returning home, flying home, and I was wearing this T-shirt, which is from Grunt Works or something like that. I'll give you the name in a second. But it was the coolest T-shirt, and it was a gift to me, and I thought I would, wear it. I was traveling through an airport in Florida, and I had to go through the scanner machine at TSA, and as I stepped through the scanner machine, the TSA person, it was a guy, it was an older gentleman, and he looked at me and he gave me stink eye, right? He looked at me and he says, "So, you must be one of those guys that thinks there shouldn't be any gun-free zones." Well, it's a TSA federal employee, right? And I looked at him, I said, so, and I'm trying to put my belt on, all that other stuff that you got to do once you go through those things. And I said, "So, yes, I am. But if there's going to be gun-free zones, then they should be protected by the technology and the kind of people that are here. So if you don't want guns, harden the perimeter so guns don't get in. It's just that simple." I said, "Now, excuse me, but do you want to have a conversation with me about this? Because I'm more than willing to have a conversation with you. But I'm not sure your supervisor would appreciate it because there's a queue behind me of people trying to catch their airplanes like I do. But if you want to have a conversation, I'll be right over there sitting on that bench." Because I had some time. He never came over to have a conversation with me, but what struck me is this idea of gun-free zones, and it was right after the shooting in Florida at the school. So I can understand people being a little bit more sensitive to things. Frankly, I don't care. I really don't care, right? Which brings me to my thinking about gun-free zones and the children. If I hear that word one more time, I don't know what I'm going to do. But people say, "But the children." Here's my thought about that. The idea that a bad person will attack our most precious possessions, which are our children, and do it in a mass way, that genie is out of the bottle. That genie was out of the bottle back in Austin, Texas, when you had the student climb the tower and start shooting from the tower. So the idea that that can happen, and by the way, the shooter was using a rifle with more power than is available in the AR-15 class, and was able to put rounds down and be very accurate because he was aiming. But the fact that that idea is somehow new is just not true. The fact that young people can get a firearm like that and use it is also not new. That they will go into a gun-free zone, and which is totally illogical, right? We have our most precious possession, our children, inside an area that anyone can get into, and then in 3 to 5 minutes wreak incredible havoc. Now, this idea that somehow you go after the type of weapon because it can put more rounds down and go to, the size of magazines is like stupid. People who talk about that have no idea how to use a firearm or how those particular ones work. Because it takes 1 to 2 seconds to change a magazine. So this idea that somehow while they're reloading we can go attack them, that is just brain dead. And anyone who thinks that that is like going to be in effect is just stupid. It's just stupid. So what do you do? And so let's go back to TSA. There has never been a mass shooting in a ghetto school where those kids go to school. Never. Never been a mass shooting. Especially one with rifles where some kid walks in and just shoots up the place. Never has happened. Well, why do you think that is? Because those schools are hardened. Metal detectors, specific rules about backpacks. Some of them, backpacks must be clear. You have to be able to see through them. You can't just bring any old backpack into school. Armed SROs, or security resource officers, either provided privately or by the local police department. But it is a hardened facility. A hardened facility. You have to really want to get in there, and you have to have the capability to bring a firearm or knife or any other kind of contraband tool into that facility. Now, there have been drive-by shootings in the neighborhoods of schools, but they can't come into, and by the way, gangbangers go to these schools. They go to these schools, but you don't see that kind of attack because it's very difficult to do. Very difficult to do. So my point is, you harden the perimeter to protect the thing inside. Now, for those soccer moms and soft sheeple who feel, well, it's inconvenient and it takes away, it makes the kids feel unsafe and it takes away the learning experience. You know what? Fuck that. It does not. We've been having fire drills in schools for the last 75 years, and I don't know too many children who come out traumatized over fear of fire. Today, you have schools, almost every school, having active shooter drills. The genie is out of the bottle, right? There is an awareness that this thing can happen, and then there are countermeasures taken, or some effective, some not, to protect against that. By the way, there has not been a fire in a public school in 75 years. Every month, almost every school does a fire drill. And you have to ask why. And they will be doing active shooter drills for the next 100 years for the same reason. But we need to harden the perimeter around those things that we consider precious. And if it feels like an inconvenience, oh, by the way, don't forget, put fences up so it's not a free range, free access campus. Anyone that wants to go into a campus needs to do like Texas does. And you pretty much have to do a background check if you're a visitor in a school in Texas. You got to have your picture taken at the front desk. It goes on your ID badge. There's a whole thing that goes on when you visit schools in Texas. The same is true when you go to pick up a child in Texas. So they kind of have it right, you know. But you still don't see metal detectors because it's inconvenient. So I pose it this way. Harden the perimeter of the things that are most important, or continue to agree and accept the fact that the children are going to be dead every time one of these things happens. So you don't get any sympathy from me because you're not doing what you're supposed to do to protect your children. You're not going to ban firearms. Banning a type of firearm will not make a difference, not one difference. It will not reduce the lethality of an attack such as this. It will not happen. Why? Because you would have to pretty much destroy every semi-automatic weapon, whether it's a pistol or a rifle, in the country. That's just stupid thinking. Stupid thinking. So, you want to protect your children? You want to protect the most precious that you think you have? Do like they do before you get on an airplane. Harden the perimeter. Make it difficult for anyone to get in. And consider that the new normal. Otherwise, lose the children. It's that simple. Thanks for watching. Carry on.